Welcome you all. In this session, we'll see the working principle of phase controlled rectifier and its performance parameters. So we have a half wave rectifier circuit wherein you can observe it looks similar to a diode rectifier, but the diode is replaced by a thyristor. Other than that, everything is same. So it is explained with respect to the resistive load. So we'll see how it operates, and the same working principle we will apply for the different types of converters which we are going to learn. So for that, we'll consider the waveform, the input which is AC, which is fixed. Okay, and we'll consider the gate signal which is being applied. Yes, I'll represent the gate signal here. So gate signal is applied at this interval, right? This is alpha. Now, during the positive half cycle of the input, that is during this interval, the thyristor will be forward biased, okay, but it will not conduct. When it will conduct only when you have applied the gate signal. That means from 0 to alpha, even though the thyristor is forward biased, it will not conduct. Okay, so 0 to alpha interval, that the current doesn't flow through the load. Got it? So well, right, so during positive half cycle of the input, thyristor is forward biased, but it will not conduct until you apply the gate signal. So interval 0 to alpha, I naught is 0, so V naught is also 0. So that you can observe here, V naught is 0, I naught is also 0. So if I naught is 0, V naught is 0, what is the voltage across the thyristor? So voltage across the thyristor will be equal to the supply. So how can you obtain it? You apply KVL to this loop, okay? If you apply KVL to this loop, what do you get? We get Vs minus Vt1 minus V naught equal to 0. So if V naught is 0, then what is Vt1 equal to? Vt1 is equal to Vs. So that is what drawn here. So Vt1 is nothing but Vs, that is from 0 to alpha. Next, at a delay of alpha, that is at the firing, with the firing angle alpha, you have applied the gate signal, say suppose at around 45 degrees. Okay, you have applied the gate signal. So that time what will happen? The thyristor is anyways forward biased. Now it will start to conduct. So when it starts conducting, the current flows through the load. So now, assuming the thyristor to be ideal, if it is ideal, voltage drop across it is 0. Then what is V naught equal to? This becomes 0. What is V naught equal to? V naught will be equal to Vs, but that is the supply. So you can see for the rest of the intervals, that is from alpha to pi, the output voltage is same as that of your input voltage. So there is a transition from 0 to the higher value. So I naught, which is equal to V naught by R, it is also same. And what is voltage across the thyristor when it is conducting? It is 0. Got the point? So this is how it works. So for positive half cycle, when the thyristor conducts, the output is same as that of the input once we apply the gate signal. Now let us see what happens when it is negative half cycle of the input. So during negative half cycle of the input, this is minus, this is plus, the thyristor is reverse biased. So during the negative half cycle, the thyristor is reverse biased. So if it is reverse biased, no current flows through the load and it is not going to conduct. So the I0 is 0. Okay, you can observe here V0 is also 0. So if I0 and V0 are 0, then what is Vt1 equal to? Vt1 is equal to the supply, that is what drawn here. So I hope this is clear to you. So with this particular waveform, this is half wave. So negative half 0, again positive half, what will happen? This is going to repeat. It is going to repeat like this. So what we have to find here, we have to find the average output voltage. We need to find the average DC output voltage. So to obtain the expression for average DC output voltage, we will consider the same waveform again. So we'll find the average DC output voltage. So I'll write here, to obtain the expression for average DC output voltage. So this 0 to alpha, this alpha you call it as firing angle, okay? Firing angle or triggering angle. Firing angle or triggering angle. And the time interval between alpha to pi, that is the angle which is the difference of this pi minus alpha, you call it as conduction angle. Conduction angle. Okay, now we will find the average DC output voltage. So average DC output voltage, we denote it as VDC. So we have to consider it over one cycle, so average value. So the general expression is 1 by T integral 0 to T V0 dt, and always remember this V0, no, what is written here, which is denoted by small letter v, is the instantaneous value, not the RMS value. So of RMS value we will denote it by some other notations, and right now this is the instantaneous value. So here one full cycle is nothing but 2 pi, right? So VDC, we'll write it as 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi. V0 is nothing but, it is different for half cycle and positive half cycle and negative half cycle. So we will split this and write. So VDC, what I am going to do is, you just have a look at the waveform. So from interval 0 to alpha, the output is 0, right? So this I can split it as interval 0 to alpha V0 dt plus integral, next limit is alpha to pi V0 dt plus next interval is pi to 2 pi to 2 pi V0 dt. So if you observe 0 to alpha, the output voltage is 0. So this is anyway 0. Similarly, from pi to 2 pi, the output voltage is 0. So this is also 0. So what is remaining? Alpha to pi V0 dt. So that we will rewrite it as VDC is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral alpha to pi V0. Instead of dt, since our limits is now in angle, we will write it as d omega t. Initially it is correct 1 by t with respect to t. Now it is angle we are considering, so d of omega t. So VDC equal to 1 by 2 pi integral alpha to pi. V0 is Vm sine omega t d omega t. Okay. So VDC, we can write it as Vm, I take it out, Vm by 2 pi integral alpha to pi sine omega t d of omega t. So integral of sine omega t is minus cos omega t. So it is minus cos omega t with the limits alpha to pi. So now what we have to substitute the upper limit and lower limit. So VDC will be equal to Vm by 2 pi minus cos omega t minus cos pi minus of minus cos alpha. So VDC equal to Vm by 2 pi, it is cos pi is minus 1, so it is minus of minus 1 plus cos alpha, or we can write VDC is equal to Vm by 2 pi into 1 plus cos alpha. So this is the expression for the average value of the output voltage, Vm by 2 pi into 1 plus cos 1 plus cos alpha. So if we want to get what is the maximum average DC output voltage, then we can obtain it by substituting alpha equal to 0. So to get the maximum average DC output voltage, we need to substitute alpha equal to 0. So if alpha is equal to 0, what is VDC maximum? VDC maximum, cos 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 and 2 get cancelled, it will be Vm by pi. So substitute alpha equal to 0 in this equation, you get it as Vm by pi. So the average output voltage, we can obtain it by varying the firing angle or the triggering angle from 0 to 180 degree. So if we plot alpha versus the V0 DC, we'll see how actually we get the waveform. So if we consider the equation V0 DC equal to Vm by 2 pi into 1 plus cos alpha, and if we plot the triggering angle alpha along x-axis and V0 DC along y-axis, we get a plot like this. Okay, substitute alpha, different values. Start substituting alpha from 0 to 180 degree. You will get a value which is decreasing. The average output voltage is decreasing. Okay, so next we have the normalized output voltage. Normalized output voltage is nothing but normalized output voltage is the ratio of we write it as VDCN. So VDCN is equal to VDC divided by VDC maximum. VDC by VDC maximum. So VDC, we know it is Vm by 2 pi into 1 plus cos alpha divided by Vm by pi. So what remains? So the normalized voltage is half into 1 plus cos alpha. So next let us derive the expression for the RMS value of the output voltage. Okay, we have seen the average value. Next we'll see the RMS value. So the RMS value of the output voltage is given by V0 RMS is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi V0 square d of omega t, this whole within the root. So now this V0 RMS, I will rewrite the interval as alpha to pi, the same principle what we have used to obtain the DC output voltage. So V naught square is Vm square sine square omega t d omega t, this within the root. So this becomes Vm square by 2 pi limits alpha to pi sine square omega t. I write it as 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2 d omega t, this within the root. So if I take root outside, it becomes this denominator 2 into 2 is 4 pi. So this, if I take the root, it becomes Vm, root of 4 is 2 root pi. Okay, and the remaining things, that is integral alpha to pi 1 minus cos 2 omega t d omega t, this within the root. Okay, so I'll rewrite it here. It is V naught RMS is equal to Vm by 2 root pi limits alpha to pi 1 minus cos 2 omega t d omega t within the root. So we have to integrate. So if we integrate, it is Vm by 2 root pi integral of 1 with respect to d omega t is omega t with the limits alpha to pi minus integral of cos 2 omega t is sine 2 omega t with respect to d omega t, means it is divided by 2, again the limits alpha to pi, this whole within the root. So now we'll substitute the upper limit and lower limits. So it is 2 root pi into pi minus alpha minus sine 2 pi by 2, minus of minus becomes plus sine 2 alpha by 2, this within the root. So if you simplify this, we get Vm by 2 root pi into pi minus alpha, sine 2 pi is anyway 0, plus sine 2 alpha by 2 whole within the root. So this is the expression for the RMS value of the output voltage. So we have obtained the average value, and also we have seen the normalized DC output voltage and the RMS value of the output voltage of a controlled rectifier. Next, let us see the performance parameters. So these performance parameters will decide how better you have obtained the output voltage. So the first performance parameter is obviously the DC output power, that is the output power which is delivered to the load. So it is V naught DC is V naught, that is output voltage into output current. So PDC is VDC into IDC. So output AC power is obtained in terms of RMS value. So P naught AC is V naught RMS into I naught RMS. So what is efficiency? Efficiency is output by input. So it is P naught DC by P naught AC. So what is P naught AC? So P naught AC is V naught AC by into I naught AC. So it is VAC, first we will find, it is VRMS is given by the RMS value of the output voltage square minus the average value of the output voltage square. Next, form factor. Form factor is the value of RMS value by average value. So RMS output voltage by average output voltage. So ripple factor is form factor square minus 1. So it measures the ripple present in the output. Next, the ripple factor for the current is given by the RMS value of the current divided by the average value of the current Next comes to the transformer utilization factor. So these performance parameters were already discussed in the diode rectifiers, but this is applicable to controlled rectifiers. And so it is a P0 DC by Vs into Is. Vs is the secondary voltage of the transformer, Is is the current through the transformer. Next is the displacement factor, and the last one is the harmonic factor, which measures the ripple, which is a parameter which measures the ripple in the output. Last is the input power factor, which is given by the secondary current by the supply current into cos phi, and the crest factor. So crest factor is measured in terms of the peak current. So peak input supply current by RMS input supply current. So these are the performance parameters of a controlled rectifier. Thank you for listening.